Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It is now week 7 in the NFL, so we are back with my weekly NFL predictions. If you enjoy the content, make sure you do like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. With that being said, let's get to my week 7 predictions. All right, and as always, we start with the previous week recap, which last week was really good for me. 13-1 up until the Bills-Jets game. I was feeling really confident, and if the Jets kicker could just make a field goal in the second half, we'd be having a different conversation, 14-0, but unfortunately not. So the recap of last week. So 49ers beat my Seahawks. My Seahawks just don't know how to play defense right now. Bears beat the Jaguars. I just don't know what the Jaguars are anymore. The Packers beat the Cardinals. Pretty standard in my opinion. Colts beat the Titans. Just a weird game. Texans beat the Patriots. Buccaneers beat the Saints. Kind of a barn burner there for the Buccaneers. That was crazy. Eagles beat the Browns. Ravens beat the Commanders. That was a really good game. Chargers beat the Broncos. Steelers beat the Raiders. Lions beat the brakes off the Cowboys. That was a horrible game for the Cowboys. The Falcons beat the Panthers, which kudos to you, Panthers. I think you guys have a two-headed backfield over there. The Bengals beat the Giants in a very snooze-festy game. And the Bills, unfortunately, beat the Jets. Like I said, if the Jets kicker could just make something, we'd be 14-0. But 13-1, not bad. As of week 6, I am 52-39, so we've got a decent cushion now. But yeah, that is the record after week 6. And now we are heading over to my weekly NFL top 5 power ranking. So coming in at number 5, I do have the Houston Texans. I think Houston Texans have not even played their best ball yet. And I think when they get Nico Collins back, I think this team is even going to elevate even more. And I'm very excited to see what this team can be. Number 4 might shock you guys, is the Minnesota Vikings. I know how you get fired on your day off, but I still like the Vikings, and I'm still kind of high on them, but I just need them to prove it to me one more time. So we will see what the Vikings have got. But number 3, I do have the Baltimore Ravens. I really like this Ravens team. Not sure how sustainable this run game actually is, but I'm really high on this team. I really like the Ravens. Number 2, I have the Detroit Lions. I think the Lions are, I don't know, maybe best team in football, if you ask me, just depending on the week. But yeah, I think they are definitely the best team in the NFC. Number 1 is the Kansas City Chiefs. And the teams that are on byes this week are the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears. And now we are over to Thursday Night Football. It is the Denver Broncos at the New Orleans Saints. So for the Broncos, I think they're asking Bo Nix to carry, and I just don't think it's going to work out. He's a very good game manager. I think Bo Nix would probably thrive in a Kyle Shanahan offense, in my opinion, but I just don't think he is the face that is going to be able to carry you if the rest of your team is mediocre, especially with a very little run game. This team's offense is not a recipe for success, in my opinion. And even their defense, Pat Surtain is injured, so I'm not sure how long he's going to be out, if he's going to be out, but definitely hinders this defense quite a bit. Moving over to the Saints, Spencer Rattler, he looked a lot better than I thought he was going to, for sure. And I was definitely impressed seeing what he was doing. Granted, all their points came in the second quarter, but he might be serviceable until you can get Derek Carr back. But I still think they need to rely on Alvin Kamara a little bit more. He's just not doing enough, in my opinion. So they just need to continue to rely on him. And I think this defense has regressed tremendously. I'm not sure what the answer is for this team, but I just don't expect the Saints to beat a lot of these good teams. But I do think they will beat the Broncos. I do have the Saints 27, Broncos 24 this week. Moving over to our London game, we have the New England Patriots at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Talk about a snooze fest of a game. 1-5 versus 1-5, whatever. So for the Patriots, I think they look way more explosive with Drake May. And I think this team might have found a little bit of a fire now that he's starting. So hopefully they can get some points on the board now. I think they need the run game to show up, especially with a rookie quarterback. The best friend to a rookie quarterback is a efficient run game. So hopefully they can get some production from their run game now. And I think they just have lots of problems defensively, lots of injuries. Apart from Christian Gonzalez, I'm just not really impressed with their secondary. And yeah, I'm just not very impressed with the Patriots altogether. As for the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is just off, man. I just don't know what it is. Maybe this is who he is now, but he just does not look good. He's not playing well. It seems like he's overthrowing everybody. He's not playing the Trevor Lawrence that we saw in year 2 of his career. And I just think they had a very little run game last week. I know ETN was he was out for I think the whole game. So I don't know. I'm very, very pessimistic about the Jaguars right now. And I think their defense is just awful. They just aren't stopping anybody. They have no drive. They have no desire. And you can tell when players are giving up on the play, and they're pretty much giving up on the play. I do have the Jaguars winning this game just because it's a battle of who is shittier, in my opinion. I got the Jaguars 30, Patriots 28. Alrighty, in our next game is my Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. So for my Seahawks, I just think this defensive scheme is unsustainable. I think the defensive scheme is good when everybody's bought in. And through the first 3 weeks, everybody was bought in, but now you're asking too much of average players. And I'm not trying to hate or sound disrespectful in any way, but I see our linebackers, and I see just the way our defense is playing. And our defense is good when everybody's there, and everybody's wrapping up, and you're not going for dumb tackles and just being dumb. So I still think this team has the potential to be really good, but I think this scheme needs to be altered in order to accommodate for, and I hate to say it, lesser talent. So we'll see. I think they're asking Geno to do too much. You got to get Kenneth Walker going early. And I know the Niners' run defense was really good. Our offensive line is just not great, but you got to keep pounding that rock because Geno will start throwing it to the other team, and it's just not sustainable, man. I'm very, compared to when we were 3-0, I'm very, very low on my team right now. As for the Falcons, like I mentioned, they do have a two-headed backfield, and I think it's really good. I think if they continue to lean on both of their running backs, I think this team could potentially have the running game that maybe Detroit has. So I think they need to continue to do so. And Atlanta Falcon fans, I hear you. My bad on calling, what's his flipping name? A bust. I called Bijan a bust. Maybe I was a little hasty, but I'm just trying to light a fire, man. And I'm just giving my takes, and that's all we can ask for. And no Kirk Cousins mistakes last week. I think that is a recipe for success. I think if Kirk Cousins can play like we all know he's capable of playing, but he doesn't have to play that way every week, I think Atlanta could definitely contend with Tampa Bay for their division. I think their defense continues to get takeaways. They're just ball hockey. They just want to get the ball, and it's very apparent. This defense looks very life-filled, so I'm actually higher on the Falcons than I thought I'd be. I do have the Falcons beating my Seahawks. I got the Falcons 31, Seahawks 27. Seahawks just don't know how to score over 30 points, so yeah, I think the Falcons, it's kind of a boat race to whoever gets to 31st. Our next game is the Tennessee Titans at the Buffalo Bills. So for the Titans, I think their secondary is very nice. I really like their secondary a lot, but they are on the older side. So I'm just not sure how much production you can actually get out of them. But yeah, I think their their offensive scheme is bad though. It's just seeing Will Levis and some of the antics that he does, some of the throws he does, just some of the plays that are being called. I just don't like this offense at all. It just does not seem very good. And I think it was a rare Tony Pollard game last week, a rare good Tony Pollard game. So I'm not sure if we will be seeing that again this season. As for the Bills, mistake-free Josh Allen. I think he has 8 touchdown passes to 0 interceptions this year, which is tremendous for Josh, and I expect him to continue to be efficient, especially now that they have signed Amari Cooper. I am recording this after Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams have gone to their new teams, so yeah, I think this team is going to be very good, and I think they had a surprisingly decent run game last week. If they can just sustain that, I think this team is going to be very good. I do have the Bills winning this game. Bills 30, Titans 20. I just don't think the Titans have a prayer in this one, but yeah, got the Bills. Our next game is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. So for the Bengals, I think they need to get the run game going. I'm not sure if that means going and signing a running back, which I know their owner is notoriously very, very cheap. So I doubt that will happen. But their run game needs some help. And I think their offensive line needs some help as well. I didn't state that here, but definitely think so. I think they had a rare, quiet offense last week. Joe just didn't. He just wasn't being as productive as he was in the, I think, previous 2 or 3 weeks. So just need to go back to what was working. But I think their defense looked much better this week. I want to see this defense with last week's offense year round for this team, and I think this team will win multiple Super Bowls. As for the Browns, Jerome Ford is day to day, and he's their backup running back, and I don't even think he is very efficient in my opinion. So I just don't know what you have on this team anymore. I think their defensive line is still great, but it's just wasted on this team. I put bench Watson ASAP. They traded Amari. I just don't understand. What are you doing, Cleveland? Like, what are you doing? Are we rebuilding? Like, nobody's gonna pay for Deshaun except for you guys. So I don't know. This team is just sad, man. I got the Bengals 24, Browns 17. I have this game being close just because it's a divisional game, but I hope the Bengals just boat race the Browns. Our next game is the Houston Texans at the Green Bay Packers. This is going to be a great game. So for the Houston Texans, I think it's great that they got Joe Mixon back last week. He ran for over 100 yards. That is sustainable for this team. They need Joe Mixon so badly. I think their passing attack has regressed slightly without Nico Collins. Yeah, which is understandable. Nico Collins was he was leading the league in receiving yards. So yeah, I think they're going to miss Nico Collins for a little while, but hopefully he can come back healthy. I think their defense needs to continue to ball hawk. Their defense looks, it's very flat at times, but I think this team has the potential to be really, really good, and their defense has to play a little faster. As for the Packers, I think their defense is hungry and they are flying. If you see the way the Packers defense is playing football, that's how defensive football should be played. They are sprinting to the ball. They are making gang tackles. They are just jumping it routes to try and get picks. It's just a really, really good way to play defense. I really like this Packers team. I think they just need more out of Josh Jacobs. Their run game has just... I feel like the better Jordan Love does, the more their run game is just shrinking a little bit. So just pound the rock a little bit more with Josh Jacobs. And I think Jordan Love is looking a lot better. He's still throwing picks, which I don't like, but I think he's still the franchise quarterback for this team, and I think he is a very good quarterback. I do have the Texans winning this game, though. I got the Texans 27, Packers 24. This one could go either way, but I'm leaning the Texans right now. Our next game is the Miami Dolphins at the Indianapolis Colts. So for the Dolphins, I think they have so many injuries, man. And I just don't know what this team can be anymore. I had this team winning their division at the beginning of the year, but now I'll be surprised if they finish third. This team is just not very good right now. Tyler Huntley is set to start again. I'm not sure when or if Tua is even going to come back this year. So very just pessimistic on the Dolphins right now. I think they need to find more ways to get Tyreek the ball. He is the fastest player, or one of the fastest players in the NFL. So just get him the ball in space, let him do his thing. Same with Jalen Waddle. Just figure out better ways to get these guys the ball. As for the Colts, I think Joe Flacco is actually benched again, and I think Anthony Richardson is going to start, just from reports I was seeing. But I'm not sure if Flacco does start. I'm not sure if he is going to continue to look well, or if he's going to, turn back into a pumpkin. It's very hot and cold with Joe Flacco, so we will see. And also my second point, I did put Jonathan Taylor and Richardson both questionable. I think Richardson is going to be the starter, but as for Jonathan Taylor, he's still questionable. I'm just not sure if he'll be playing this week, which really sucks for this Colts team. I think their defensive line is playing very, very well. I like what this team is doing. They're not exceptional. They're not exceptional at anything, but they're efficient and good in almost every single aspect. I got the Colts winning this game. Got the Colts 24, Dolphins 20. I'll be surprised if the Dolphins score 20 points, in my opinion. Our next game is the Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. This game should have been flexed to Sunday night, but oh well. So for the Lions, they have that two-headed backfield with Montgomery and Gibbs. I think this team is super good. I just don't see too many flaws on this team, in my opinion. I think if Jared Goff continues to play mistake-free, I think this offense is tailor-made for Jared Goff, and I think he is thriving in this offense. And I'm curious how this defense will look without Aiden Hutchinson. Unfortunately, he has been placed on IR. I think it's a broken tibia. So, yeah, very unfortunate for him. So we will see how this defense looks going forward. As for the Vikings, Brian Flores, I think his scheme is going to get put to the test this week. So I'm very, very excited for this game. This is going to be a tremendous game to watch. What version of Sam Darnold are we going to get? Because the last time we saw Sam Darnold, he looked... I don't want to say he looked mid. He looked very mid, and he just wasn't looking like he did in the previous weeks of this year. So I'm not sure which version we're going to get this week. I think they need to establish the run game. I can't remember who their running back is off the top of them. Oh, Aaron Jones. They definitely need to get Aaron Jones the ball. Thrive on the run game. Get the ball out of Sam Darnold's hands quick and run the ball. I do have the Lions getting the upset, getting Minnesota their first loss of the year. I got the Lions 28, Vikings 24. Our next game is the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. So for the Eagles, I think they really missed A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is kind of the best player they have on offense, in my opinion. He is tremendously good, very quick, very strong hands. I really like A.J. Brown. I think their defense gets a passing grade, but their defense just... They're very lifeless at times. They kind of just let you do what you want to do. So I just don't know what this defense has, in my opinion. I think they just need to continue to get mistake-free Jalen Hurts. I don't know. Jalen Hurts has definitely regressed from that Super Bowl season, and I'm just not sure if he'll ever get back to that point of how good he was that year. As for the Giants, I think they just need to get Daniel Jones more time. I don't think Daniel Jones is the problem with this team, in my opinion. I think offensive line is bad. I think their run game is inconsistent. I just don't know what this team can be. I think their defense is still playing well. I know Thibodeau, he had a surgery, so I'm not sure when he'll be back. But yeah, this Giants team, they have a lot of potential, but I just don't think they will be able to get to it. I do have the Eagles winning this game. I got the Eagles 24, Giants 20 in this one. Our first late window game is the Las Vegas Raiders at the LA Rams. So for the Raiders, I think they need to get Aiden O'Connell some help, man. They need to get him a wide receiver. They need to get him a flipping run game. This team is just just nothing going for them on offense, in my opinion. I think they, like I said, they have very little run game, just nothing to help Aiden O'Connell, and so they're kind of asking him to do everything, which is kind of what they were asking Garner to do, but just that isn't sustainable. I think it's time to rebuild, in my opinion. I think it's time to start cutting ties, trade Max Crosby, start trading some of your other guys, and just start stockpiling draft picks, in my opinion. As for the Rams, I think they have way too many yards to be losing as often as they are. They need to figure it out offensively, figure it out defensively as well, because I'm not saying it's just one side of the ball, but this team is just so not what I expected. I think they need to continue to get Kyren Williams carries. He's definitely efficient. He's better than I thought he was going to be, but is he the long-term solution? I'm not so sure. I think Stafford mistakes is killing this team. He just throws, and I say it all the time, Stafford will throw you the ball multiple times a game, and it's your job to make those plays. And so far this season, a lot of these teams they're playing have made those plays. I still have the Rams winning this game just because I just don't believe in the Raiders right now. I got the Rams 30, Raiders 27. This one could go either way, though. Our next game is the Carolina Panthers at the Washington Commanders. So for the Panthers, they have way too many turnovers, and it's just not sustainable for success on this team. I think their defense can't stop a single person, not a one. Atlanta got everything and then some last week. Anything they wanted, they got. So I just don't think this defense is good at all. And I'm not sure how much better Andy Dalton is over Bryce Young anymore. We talked about it a lot when they swapped over and Andy Dalton won their lone game of the season, but I just don't know if Andy Dalton is better than Bryce Young, in my opinion. As for the Commanders, I think they need to get the run game to help Jaden Daniels. I think it just buys him more time in the pocket, especially the way the Ravens were pressuring him last week. He needs a little bit more time. I think their defense should bounce back this week, especially against a Panthers team that is subpar, in my opinion. But I think the recipe for success for this offense is to feed Terry McLaurin. I think Terry McLaurin is very, very good for this team, and Jaden, he needs to get him the ball. Of course, I have the Commanders winning this. I got the Commanders 40. I expect them to drop a 40 burger on these Panthers, and I got the Panthers 20, so go Commies in this one. Our next game is the Kansas City Chiefs at the San Francisco 49ers. Again, why did this game not get flexed? Whatever. So for the Chiefs, they are fresh off a bye. I think they just need to continue to run the ball. Kareem Hunt is looking very good for this team. I'm not sure when Pacheco is coming back. But yeah, I expect this team to continue what they're doing. And just Mahomes needs to clean up the sloppiness a little bit. Just clean it up a little bit. As for the 49ers, I think they have a very injured running back room. Christian McCaffrey is still out. I think they said early November is the earliest he can return. And Jordan Mason, I know he's still nursing I think it's a strained shoulder is what he's got. So very injured running back room, but they're a running back by committee. So it's next man up, and I think he'll be just as effective as the other two guys, in my opinion. I think if they keep Purdy upright, I think they will win every week. I think Brock Purdy is very efficient. He is able to escape from the pocket as well. He's even able to run down the field. So I really like what Brock Purdy's doing, and I think he is the answer for the 49ers at quarterback right now. I think their defense is continuing to improve. In the first early part of their season, the defense was just getting very stagnant and not making as many plays, but I think their defense is slowly improving. I do have the Chiefs winning this game. I got the Chiefs 27, 49ers 24. This one might be able to go either way, but I just can't bet against the Chiefs right now, unfortunately. Our Sunday night game is the New York Jets at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who the hell cares? Anyway, so for the Jets, they just got Devontae Adams. Good for you. I'm not sure if that moves the needle a lot for me on their Super Bowl chances, but it is what it is, I guess. I think they need to continue to run the ball. Breece Hall looking very good last week. You need that production out of him every single week. So continue to feed Breece Hall the ball. I think their offensive play calling is still mid, though, and I'm not sure if that's going to improve. I don't necessarily think, what's his bucket? The guy that they relieved of his duties, and they have a new offensive coordinator anyway, and he is kind of just the exact same. They play really fast. They get onto the ball really quick, but they fizzle out. And I'm just not sure how good this offense is going to be, even with Devontae. As for the Steelers, so who's quarterback number one? Is it going to be Russell Wilson? Is he going to start now? Or are you going to continue to roll the dice with Justin Fields? In my opinion, I would keep Justin Fields in. I think he hasn't been awful enough to warrant benching him. So I would stick with the hot hand right now. I think that might have been Najee Harris's best game ever last week, and they need that so much more consistently. So continue to get Najee the ball, and hopefully he can continue to have productions like last week. I think they need to get George Pickens going early. I noticed this with my Seahawks as well. If we get DK going early, that just means he'll be a lot more warm going down the stretch. And I think if George Pickens doesn't get the ball early, then he just fizzles out and doesn't do much. Surprising some of you, I got the Steelers in this game. I got the Steelers 20, Jets 17. I'm just not sold on the Jets quite yet, so who knows? Our first Monday night game is the Baltimore Ravens at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. See, this is a great game to have on Monday night, so I'm very excited for this game. All right, so for the Ravens, how sustainable is their run game? I know they're getting between like 20 to 30 carries for Derrick Henry. I'm not sure how sustainable this is. I think there might be some load managing that you might have to do. If you're going against a lesser opponent, I'd probably just let him rest because they're going to need him in the playoffs, and I'm not sure how sustainable this run game is going to be. I think their offense is elite, though. Zay Flowers looks super, super good. I think if they can go get one more piece, I was kind of hoping this team would go get Devontae, but if they can get one more piece offensively, I think this team's going to be really, really good. Really, really good. I think their defense just continues to get better. I know because they do have a new defensive coordinator, it was taking a little adjustment, but they look phenomenal last week against a really, really good Washington Commanders team. So continue to get better. As for the Bucs, is the Bucs offense elite? I know they scored 50 on New Orleans, but I think it is just New Orleans, right? So I'm not sure if this is sustainable going forward, but it was a really good game for the Bucs. They might have a 2 out of backfield with Bucky Irving and I think his last name's Tucker. So continue to feed both guys, get the ball out of Baker's hand quick, and just let the playmakers do what they do. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, just let them do what they do. It's this offense looks so fun. And apart from the second quarter, I think their defense was lights out. The defense and special teams gave up 27 in the second quarter and did not let up another point in the other 3 quarters. So do what was working in the first, third, and fourth quarters, and we'll see what this team can be. I do have the Ravens winning this game. I got the Ravens 30, Bucs 24. This one definitely, I don't know about definitely. This game could go either way, though. And our final game is another Monday night game. It is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Arizona Cardinals. So for the Chargers, I think they need to continue to let Justin Herbert cook. I think we know what Justin Herbert can be, and I think they need to let him be who he needs to be. I think this run game is still good, so don't give up on the run game, but just let Justin Herbert cook a little bit more, and I think this team is going to be very, very good. Hopefully good enough to beat the Chiefs at least once. Anyway, I think their defense is also very good, and I just really like this Chargers team. I think, I forget, is it Jim or John? We're going with Jim. I think Jim Harbaugh is a very, very good coach, and I think he is right where he needs to be for this team. As for the Cardinals, this team is so hot and cold, man. If they start hot, then they continue to stay hot for a majority of the game. But if they start cold, they're ice cold, and they will not get any hotter. And I hate watching this team sometimes because when they're good, they're so much fun to watch. When they're bad, it's unwatchable in my opinion. I think they had no run game at all last week. I can't remember if James Conner played, but the run game was just not it last week. They got to figure that out. And I'm starting to question, can you win consistently with Kyler? I'm not too certain right now. I do have the Chargers winning this game. I got the Chargers 24, Cardinals 20. And with that, we are through with week 7. What did you think of my predictions? Let me know in the comment section down below. Be kind. Don't hate. I'm just out here making takes, and we're just having a good time. We're all football fans at the end of the day. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. I will see you guys next week for week 8. Y'all have a good one.